Hello and welcome to Blytheway Business News. In this edition, I'm joined by Segun Lawson, Chief Executive of Thor Explorations. Segun's been a regular visitor on the show, wearing the hat of Thor Explorations, listed in Toronto on the TSXV exchange. But Segun, this morning, you've announced your intention to list on the London market on AIM. And we want to talk a lot about that. But before we get there, let's get into the details a bit more about what's happening at Senegal, your project in Nigeria. You're scheduled to have the first pour of gold in the second quarter of this year. Now, by my reckoning, the second quarter starts in a matter of days. So how are you getting on with that? How's construction coming along? How are we looking towards the first pour of gold?
Hi, Tim. Yeah, first of all, good to be on the show again. Thanks for having me back on. That's it's all completely correct what you've said. We are scheduled to pour first gold in the second quarter. For us, we can narrow that window down now as we're getting closer to sort of to the second half of June. So we will get it in the second quarter. We have been working through, the pandemic. And we have still managed to keep the project on track within this Q2 window. So, I mean, the key items which we were worried about getting to site all got to site on time earlier this year. And I mean things like the SAG mill, the bore mill, a number of the steel structures, the crusher. And, we've completed the civil works on time and on budget. So now we're in a stage of installation and implementation. And I think over the next 4 weeks, visually, the project site is going to look very different.
Okay. So first gold, hopefully in June with a fair wind. You've also just released an update on the reserves. So tell us what that means for the project.
Yeah, so that's a huge announcement for us. It's certainly the most material announcement we've announced in the last probably 12 months since we got the project fully funded. If you recall, we did a drilling program in Q3 and Q4 last year, and the objective of that drilling program was to drill out some inferred material, which was already in the pit, and also re-optimize the pit. Our DFS was done in February 2019, when the gold price was trading around about 1,300. So there was a lot of optimization to do. Previously in the DFS, we had a pit, we had an underground component. We still have an underground component, but obviously at a higher gold price, we could use a larger pit and eat into some of that underground material and produce that from the open pit. So as a whole, we've increased the number of ounces. We had a DFS reserve of 405,000 ounces. You'll see from the release yesterday, we're just under 520,000 ounces, rating of 4 grams per ton. It's a 28% increase on what we had before. And we've managed to keep the all-in sustaining cost for the life of mine under $700 per ounce. So it's fantastic for us. It means that the project economics are even more compelling. We were happy with them at the time of the DFS. We have an NPV of this project, which is now north of $300 million. And production, close not over 100,000 ounces, but close to 100,000 ounces per year. One of the key optimizations we've done in this updated reserve, obviously we finished our drilling in Q4, but we've painstakingly and very comprehensively been through the optimization of the mining schedule, the equipment to use. We actually, after the DFS last year, we resized the plant, so we have a high throughput rate as well. So we have the ability to produce more gold as well, rather than and process more ore than we did at the DFS stage. So yeah, we're really excited about the results of the DFS. It shows we're hugely discounted as a company, trading, probably just over $100 million US market cap versus a project which has a $300 million US NPV. And for us, like you mentioned earlier in the call, we're around the corner from, first gold pour. We've significantly de-risked the project. It's not an NPV of a project that needs to be funded and then needs to be constructed, where what I like to call the home straight on the way through to commercial production and first gold pour.
those are some seriously impressive numbers in terms of the NPV, an AISC of 700 or below 700. This is, because
the high 600s, so under 700, so it's about 685.
Yeah, it was seriously impressive numbers. Now, Segun, when you get to the first gold, you become the production company. You're going to be the first large-scale gold mine in Nigeria. I mean, do you see this then turning into a proper mining industry in Nigeria?
I think there's huge potential geologically and in around where we are and in Nigeria as a whole, not just in gold, in a number of resources and base metals. And Nigeria has historically championed mining, 60, 70, 100 years ago. So while still looking back historically, we don't have to go back too far in history to look at case studies, look at Burkina Faso, even somewhere like Ghana, how, the time it took between the first mine and the first 10 mines. So we hope that this does trigger a spur of activity. I think, the more the industry grows, the better it is for everyone, the infrastructure, the support services as well. As a first mover, really building this mine, we've also, had an exploration team on the ground for the last 4.5 years. And, we're very excited by what we see. And now we're actually putting a lot of resources into systematically exploring, our additional licenses in the region around us. So, Segun on its own, it's got robust economics. It's very compelling as a project. However, I think it's an excellent platform to a much bigger picture for Thor and for Nigeria.
Okay. Let's then look at the other asset you have, which is in Senegal, the Douta. If I'm saying that correctly, the Douta project. You're
Yes,
currently on a maiden resource at Douta. Give us a bit more detail on what's going on there, please.
Okay, so we're not yet at a maiden resource, but that's our next milestone. We were planning on doing that, in the actually in Q1 this year. However, we had such encouraging drill results, which we press released in February, that, we were inclined to do another 10,000 meters of drilling. So that's kicked off now. And we're obviously in a much more known geological and gold jurisdiction than we were in Nigeria. What we've done is we've drilled out our main target there called Makosa across a strike length of about 6 kilometers. We're looking to extend that by 1 kilometer, and we're also looking to do some infill drilling. We identified a very high-grade area, which had a strike length of about 300 meters. Now, those were the highest grades we'd actually hit on Makosa since we've had the license. So we're aiming to drill out this 10,000 meters and then take that into a maiden resource. We think there's significant resource potential there. Our drilling results, which were all very shallow holes, averaging about 60 meters, a couple of down to 80 meters, but these are all in the oxide and transition area. So we're really excited by that. It's a project where, we're pretty much painted as a Nigeria project company, and this is a project that gives significant upside to what we're doing in Nigeria.
Okay, so you're sitting there right now with, in Nigeria, in a matter of months, you have first gold, producing gold in Nigeria, lots of potential upside from the exploration in Senegal. And as you just said, you've now announced you're going to be floating the company or listing the company on the London market as a secondary listing. What was the thinking behind that? Why are you coming to London?
Our ultimate objective is to become a significant West African gold player, miner in multi-jurisdictions and more than one project in Nigeria. So, we're not thinking short term here. And we just thought this was the right time for us. We're transitioning, probably a very transformational period, going from an explorer that's never had any cash flow into a producing project with a second fantastic project. What this does now actually gives us an opportunity to tell the story to a much wider audience, to UK investors and European investors. It provides opportunities for additional equity capital in the future, should we need it. And it just broadens the marketing of the company. We look on the London Stock Exchange, there are a number of companies, albeit on the oil and gas side, that are have been very successful with projects in Nigeria, and we think there are a lot of investors who understand the jurisdiction and would react very positively to us delivering on our promised milestones. So those are the key reasons behind it. We will also maintain our listing in Toronto. We do have investors and shareholders in North America that we see as long-term strategic supportive shareholders as well, institutional shareholders. So the plan is to be on both stock exchanges, and we think it's a very positive thing, and we think it's a very opportune time to do it.
Right, so Segun, clearly an exciting time with the gold production coming up in a matter of a few months in Nigeria, the exploration upside in Senegal. You've announced today your intention to list in London, and I know there's always how long is a piece of string to these kind of questions, but what's your hope, what's your expectation for the shares being listed in London?
So yeah, like you rightly say, these things can take time. We like to think, we've done a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of our annual audited accounts already been done. We've just done our updated reserve. So we'll aim for early May to have this listing done.
Thank you, Segun. That was Segun Lawson, Chief Executive of Thor Explorations. Thor Explorations currently listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange on the venture market, but as we've just been heard, soon to be coming to the London market, listing on AIM in May. That's it from Blytheway Business News. Thanks for watching.